Hello, everybody. My name is Taluka from Markers and Minions, and this is my Facebook group. Welcome. I approved a ton of new members this week. I actually did something a little bit different. I went back to I filtered my member requests by the oldest first, and I saw that I had some still in there from like September and October that those people didn't answer the 3 questions, but I could see that they had like 25 friends in the group, or they were invited by so-and-so in the group. So I went through and I added all those people too. So welcome. I added a whole bunch of new people from my own district. Word caught on in my district. So hey guys, glad you're here. I have a few updates to go over, and then we can dive into planning. And if you stay with me till the end, we can talk about what the next couple videos can be focused around, because I want to take a break from planning after this video, because we are pretty far into the series now. All right, so some updates I have. I wrote them all down. I am designing a teacher planner, and I have a million planners. I'm a paper pencil kind of girl. So I've got the Erin Condren planner, the Happy Planner, the Simplified Planner, a bullet journal. So I have a bunch of planners lying around, and I decided I'm going to just design my own, and I'm going to for sure include the planning templates for benchmark units in there. So that's in the works. I'm done designing it for the most part, and I'm shopping around from different printers for quotes. So it will be hopefully available pretty soon, and I'm going to be releasing them in like batches, probably batches of like 50 to 100. So let me know if that sounds like something you're interested in. And I'll share in the group. I also am revamping some of the things in my shop. I'm going through my spelling and grammar pamphlets right now, and I'm fixing the headers, the margins so that it folds better. I'm kind of making it more kid-friendly. So those will be updated very soon. And hi, Sarah. Those will be updated soon. I'm finishing up 3rd at the moment, and I'm already like ready to toss my old ones and start with my newer ones. Like for example, the spelling, like I was noticing with the pamphlets, like the skill would be, you know, long E or whatever, and there's like several ways you can write long E, but then the word sort would be like separate these by syllable, so it wouldn't really match. So I'm going through and I'm making it just better. So that's new. More details to come. When I do update them, I'll let you guys all know, so that you can, if you want, you can save your original file for the pamphlets, and then when I update, you just re-download and you'll get the 2nd copy too. So you'll have like 2 versions. Also, I am going to be planning, and this is just in the planning stages for now, but I'm just too excited, I have to talk about it. I'm planning a day in April, hopefully we can get it together by then, for like a Saturday planning session where we can all get together in person here in LA at a meeting spot. You know, I'll lead it. We can get together, we can pull out our planners, and we can plan, we can prep, and we can leave, you know, after having had a very fun and nerdy Saturday together. Hi guys. All right. Good. I'm excited about the planner too. It's coming out really cute. I can show you guys pictures of what I have so far. Okay, so those are the updates. So last week I went over Unit 7 and I planned the overview. Now, I'm not on Unit 7 yet, but I know a lot of people are in this group, so that's why I kind of went ahead. I'm still in Unit 6. This next week, starting tomorrow, is Dr. Seuss week, so we're going to focus on just Dr. Seuss books. And then the week after is open house, so we're going to probably intro Unit 7 that week, but not really dive in. So I'm a little bit behind, so I'm just going to show you all quickly the overview. This is also posted in the Unit 7 photo album. And then today I'll go over the weeks with you all. I'll plan them. And then we'll take a break from planning for a little bit, for a couple of weeks. Hi, Nina. I had breakfast with Sarah and Nina and Christine this morning. Friendships born of this group. How cool is that? I might be switching to dual immersion. Any thoughts about translating all your material for dual immersion? Oh my goodness. You want to help me? I don't speak Spanish, so if you want to help me translate, then I would consider it for sure. Okay, so these are my planning templates. They are available for free on my TPT shop. Okay, cool, Gabriela. Let's talk about that then. I would love to. These are free on my TPT shop. They've been updated a zillion times. This is the most recent. This is the 2 through 6 planner. This works for grades 2 through 6, but K1 has a separate one, and that's also available in that file. It's separated in a zip file. So, get my stuff out. All right, so I'm going to be using my TRS, the weekly views. Hi, Christine. For week 1, the short read titles are Exploring My Community and A New Life in Vermont. All right, the phonics focus can be found down here under word study. And the focus for week 1 for 3rd grade is suffixes, ER and OR. And this word study right here comes after your 2 short reads just before the Build, Reflect, Write page, and it's full of your phonics skill for the week. So this is a really simple thing that you can push into your centers. An independent task, a partner task, they can highlight, they can pull them out, put them on the whiteboard, whatever. It's basically, they can go on a little phonics scavenger hunt with that story, and that story is going to be connected to your theme and your other stories. Okay, and the spelling words are listed down at the bottom under word study. And there's also the vocabulary for the week listed there, found there. So remember, we've got actors, bakers, owners, painters, players, sculptor, vendors, and visitors. So starting in the 3rd grade, we only have 8 words a week. but there's space for 10 because second grade has 10 words. Now I'm also going to fill out my word study text title, which is in day 3, because that's where I can find all these spelling words, and that is called the Mission District. All right. The language focus. So language is what we call grammar. And they're usually found in the drafting lesson for the week, which is going to be lesson like towards the end here. So it's embedded within this lesson. So I like to start that day 1 instead of, later in the week like the TRS suggests. I start at day 1. I just introduce it, and that way the kids can practice the skill for the entire week at their center. So the skill for week 1, and I'm just going to refer to my writing booklet so I don't have to go digging through the TRS for that. The skill for week 1 is reciprocal pronouns. All right. So that's how you fill out the first part. And then day 1, you're going to introduce the new unit. I normally do this the week before or a couple days before because I like to draw this out. I don't like to pack that into the rest of the stuff on day 1 because I like to really take a lot of time introducing the unit and building that background. And I do charts and things like that. So I usually skip lesson 1 from the TRS and I do my own thing. But that's there as a reminder. Then I'm going to do the short read, the first one, and I'm going to do the first and the second read. So I do something called a 3 reads method. So for the first read, I read it out loud to the kids. The second read, they read it themselves and they annotate. And then the third read is when we do that close read or, reading with a purpose. And I never do all 3 of those in one day. So that's going to be also a little bit different than what your lessons suggest doing. So I'm going to do the first and the second read of that first short story. And then I'm going to introduce the phonics and the language. And then I'm going to go over the prompt for the week for writing. And I just do that first lesson, analyze the prompt, and I really view it as a comprehension lesson. We color code it. I have these little writing booklets. This is the prompt from your TRS. It's a student prompt. And I like to color code it. So I have the kids use a red colored pencil to search for the main topic first. What are you going to be writing about? And then blue is the type of writing, so informative, opinion, or narrative. And then green, underline what sources or texts that you're going to be bringing in to help you with your writing prompt. So that's what I do on Monday. The type of writing for week 1 is a compare-contrast essay, so informative. Okay. Then day 2, we're going to read that short read again, but this time we're going to read it with a purpose, and we're going to bring in one of those close reading lessons. So it looks like, where's my overview? For week 1, these are my close reading lessons. I've got the key details and main idea, author's point of view, key events, and summarizing. And the reason why we have both of these is because short read 1 is informational, I believe, right? Yeah. And short read 2 is fictional literature. There's also draw inferences, and there's analyze story illustrations. So I'm going to put that first key details main idea lesson that goes with the first short read, and that's going to be lesson 2. And identify key details and main idea. In addition to this, I like to go over context clues every week, even if it's not in the TRS for that week. So as you can see for Unit 7, third grade, there's only one vocabulary focus. So in week 1, it's going to be context clues, but then in week 2 and week 3, there's no vocabulary lesson, close reading lesson. But I like to bring it in every single week, no matter what, after pretty much everything that we read. So when the kids are doing their second read and they annotate, I have them pick out the vocabulary. So I actually personally don't bring in these vocabulary words. They kind of pick out their own. So after they've circled the vocabulary, we'll pick out a few that lots of kids circled, and we'll review it. And we'll use context clues to figure out the meaning of those. And it's quick, it's really easy. We'll just read the paragraph or the couple sentences around it, and we'll say, okay, what other word can fit there? And we'll write it in. After that, for writing, we find text evidence. So that's where the kids are going to be using that source, and that's that's the next lesson. Usually, they're going to be using that source or those two sources, and then they're going to be bringing in that text evidence using the strategy of lifting a line and quoting from the text, so that they can begin thinking about how they want to connect that source, that text, to their writing and what's going to support their prompt for that week. Day 3. We're going to read again, do another close read mini lesson. And it says the next lesson would be use context clues, but I don't need to do that because I already did that in day 2. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that. And I'm going to do the next close reading skill, which is lesson 4, and it's analyzing the author's point of view. Then we're going to read the second story, do the first and the second read. So the teacher read, and then the kids read and annotate. These are short. They can get through them pretty quickly, typically. Then there's time for a writing lesson, usually. Typically, day 3, I'll go straight to drafting. I just tend to follow this, which is what I made. It's analyze, find text evidence, draft, and then edit and revise. But be sure to look in your TRS because you'll find sometimes more specific focuses for that week. It looks like I will have to bring in use linking words and phrases to incorporate supporting facts. So that's another mini lesson that you can kind of bring in and fit somewhere into your week. Let's see. So lesson 9, linking words. Then the next day, day 4, open up that second short read again. Have the kids read it with a purpose this time for a close reading task because you've already read it to them. They've already read it and annotated it. And it looks like we can do the key events and summarize, or draw inferences, or interpret graphic features. So the analyze story illustrations. So I'm going to start with first summarizing it. Which my kids are getting a lot quicker with since I switched over to the somebody wanted but so then, I think it is. It's way easier now. And then review any vocab from their annotations, and then another close read mini lesson. This one I don't always get to, just totally being honest. There's lesson 10, draw inferences from character actions. So that sounds like it could be a skippable one because that seems like we did that a lot in Unit 2 and Unit 4. And now again in Unit 6. And then now here it is again in Unit 7. So that might be skippable. Draw inferences from character actions. And then the writing lesson is, drafting, I guess. Drafting's lesson 12. Day 5, assess. My kids take those quickly now. I don't need to read those aloud to, my gen ed population in my classroom anymore. So I just give it to them. They take it, and then it's quick. It's like 10 questions. It doesn't take up the whole block, whereas it used to earlier in the year. I didn't really have time to ever get to anything else on Fridays, but now I can. So ideally, after assessing, you would do that lesson 14 where you're doing the cross-text connections. So you're taking the two texts, two short reads, and you're comparing and contrasting some sort of element. So in this case, for week 1, it says compare two texts on the same topic. This last Friday, after they took their test, I had them do that. It was compare, contrast the central message from both extended reads. So it was or 2 texts from Unit 6, something like that. And they worked with a partner. They drew their own thinking map, and they did it themselves. It was wonderful. And then for your writing lesson, it's going to be lesson 15. That lesson 15 for writing is the revise piece and the edit piece. And instead of having the kids revise and edit the entire thing, I will go over what our revising skill is for the week. I'll have them go to their text, their draft, underline a sentence that they want to revise based on this strategy or skill for the week, and rewrite the revised sentence here. And then when I'm reading this and I'm grading this, I can see which one they chose to revise, and I can come over here and I can see. And then for the edit, the grammar, language skill, reciprocal pronouns, the same thing. They're gonna take a sentence, redo it here. So that's usually not that long because they're not doing their entire draft. So this is week 1. And I will post pictures. I love the writing book. This makes the writing for the week so much more kid-friendly and meaningful. Thank you. It makes it easier to stay on track. Okay. Now, Unit 7, Week 2. So with these planning templates, Week 1 follows one format, and then Week 2 and 3 looks a little bit different. So I leave that blank, and this one works for both of those second weeks. Both the second and the third week. Okay. So now I'm on week 2 mini lessons, and I'm also going to refer to this. So it looks like my extended read is called All Kinds of Communities. Second grade is going to have a shared read as well as an extended read. That shared read is for phonics and language review or reinforcement. So we don't have that in 3rd through 6th. We just have one extended read. Our phonics skill is homophones. And our word study, the Levi Coffin House. Okay, and our words are 8 and 8, Past and past. So and so. Where and where. Our writing, our language is going to be simple, compound, and complex. Wait, hold on a sec. Sometimes the language skills don't match up, and so right now it's starting to not match up. On the unit overview, I found that for week 2, the language skill was conventions. However, this says simple, compound, complex sentences. Let's see. You can look in that drafting lesson. It's in 13. Okay. Build language, review English language conventions. So we got conventions. And then the writing type is going to be write a dramatic scene. So it's a play, narrative. We've done the first read of that extended read. I never have time for the kids to annotate after that. It's a really long story, typically, long text. So then day 2, I push that into day 2. They do their second read, they annotate. We go over any unfamiliar words. And then we do a close reading lesson. So close reading lesson, it would be lesson number 3, let's see. For key details and main idea. Yeah, lesson 3. 3 and 5. Day 3, we're going to look at that extended read again and do another close read lesson. So I'm going to choose lesson 8, analyze maps, photos, and captions. And then the writing lesson can be 10, develop characters through description. This one has a couple of interesting writing lessons since it's a play. So vary words that show dialogue, characters through description, and then they're drafting. Okay, day 4 for that extended read, the close reading lesson. The only one that's left is identify and analyze author's point of view. And that's lesson 11. Analyze author's point of view. And writing lesson 13 is drafting. Day 5, after you assess, you can do that cross-text mini lesson, and that's lesson 14, and it says compare 2 texts on the same topic. And then after that, you've got your writing lesson, and you guessed it, writing lesson 15, where they revise and edit. Occasionally, I'll get the kids to publish. I was talking to Sarah about this morning, but I tend to just do like 1 per unit. So we published in unit 4, we published for one of the weeks, and then unit 5, we published week 1, Unit 6, we're only doing week 3. So we just kind of find time elsewhere to take it from here to a pretty piece that we put up on the wall. All right. Oh, this is heavy. Okay, week 3, our extended read is Sarah and the Chickens. And someone was asking about that this week. For 3rd grade, the novel study is in Unit 7, and it's a text that I thought was Tornado. Apparently, though, in the TRS, there's a section where it talks about Sarah Plain and Tall, right? Sarah and the Chickens? No, Sarah Plain and Tall, I think. And it was saying that that was the novel study. So anyone that is doing the novel study, let us know what you find. I think it's Tornado, though. And the novel study is, there's 1 per grade level starting in 3rd grade, I believe, and it's in different units. It can be found under small group, the small group tab. And there are lessons that go with it. You open up the novel under the small group tab, and then there's that green apple, and you can open up the resources from there. Sarah and the Chickens. This is just the excerpt. For phonics, it's the ah sound. There you go. O with a little hat. And then we've got wind and wildflowers for our word study. The words are awful, called, dawn, pause, stocks, taught, thawing, walls. The language focus parts of speech. The type of writing is going to be, it's got to be opinion because that's the only one that's left. Yes, opinion essay. And then we get into our extended read. Key details and summarizing. It looks like lessons 3 and 5. Key details, and so I'm going to write key events and summarize. Have any of you introduced Unit 7 yet? And if so, did you use the examples that we came up with last week for the charts, or did you come up with something else to introduce it? 4th grade novel study is Because of Winn-Dixie. Love that book. I think I want to read it anyway at the end of the year. And then there's Esperanza Rising, right? Is that 4th or 5th? It's got to be 5th, right? Okay, let's see. Genre features of historical fictions. That would be your next close reading lesson. Fifth grade. Then lesson 10 for writing is use linking words to connect reasons and evidence. So that's day 3. Day 4, your next mini lesson is story illustrations. Well, okay, so there's story illustrations and there's draw inferences from character actions. Both of those are spiraled, are repeated. So I would probably just pick one that my kids might still need. And then it's the drafting day. After you assess, there's lesson 14, compare, contrast, 2 texts on the same topic again. And then writing lesson 15, revise and edit. And there you have it. There's all 3 weeks broken down. It's cake when you've got this. So 4th grade's novel study, Because of Winn-Dixie, is in Unit 4. So the unit that's all about multiple perspectives and point of view. All right, guys. So let's see, Sarah, I was considering doing the novel study, but I'd have to get a class set of books, so we'll see. I think they were on super sale, right, on Scholastic for Tornado. I don't know about anymore, but I think they were $1. And you'd want to get a class set, right? Like you'd want to buy it so that the kids can annotate. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to take pictures of these. And then if there's any questions, I'll stay online a couple more minutes. Oh, and then we have to talk about the next couple weeks. So I'm not going to do a plan with me next week because I'm just way too far ahead. I don't think any of us are ready for Unit 8. So I was thinking of, I used to alternate and do like a plan with me, and then the following Sunday I would do like a general Q&A. But that was back when this group first started, and now we're all experts. So I don't know if there's anything that I can answer for you. We can still certainly do a Q&A, or we can do sort of like a themed day, a themed discussion. So if there's anything that you all need support on, whether it be assessments, writing, any kind of component of the program, let me know, and we can kind of have some talking themes, some talking points for the next few videos where it will just give me a little bit of direction. I read an article yesterday on Edutopia, and it was about PBL and connecting it to standards-based grading. And so I thought that was interesting. I tend to do the inquiry-based projects with our program. I spend that 4th week doing the PBL type learning. And then when my kids present it, I usually just grade them based on collaboration and, speaking. So if there was a way that we could kind of work through these inquiry-based projects in our program and kind of come up with rubrics or even some sort of specific standards to connect these two, then I thought that would be an interesting thing to talk about, because the inquiry-based projects are under the Additional Resources tab, and this is all that's given to you. So here's one project, here's another, and here's another. These are really cool, but they're limited. So if we could kind of come up with some sort of, standards alignment, then that would be neat. All right, let's see, let me catch up. Maybe others in the group have more ideas about unit openers. Yes. Yeah, like for Unit 7, what else are we doing? It's all about community and culture and immigration. So if anyone has any neat ideas of how they're going to introduce that to their classrooms, let us know. Hi, Elise. Vicki, can you please go over the Unit 7 opening chart from last week or point me in the right direction? So we just came up with kind of a rough, on the back of this, a rough idea. If we were going to do, if I am going to do a chart, this might be how I'd outline it. So I'd have like our town's logo in the middle here with the name, and then I'd kind of define what community is and bring in some common themes that we're going to be reading about around community. We also talked about putting the depth and complexity icon change over time icon right here and talk about how that's connected. And then go over what culture is, culture, and then like how our specific community has evolved. So in my town, it was founded on the aircraft industry and the studios. And so basically how that has evolved into where we are now and what we have in our community and how those industries have really become more prevalent. This was also interesting. You could do sort of like a past and a present chart like this. So taking those, taking the things in our community and comparing them and showing how they have evolved. Someone mentioned doing like a timeline for the development of their community. So I thought that was a really neat idea. Bring in dates. Christy, I would like to talk about more integration of science and social studies. Yeah, well, Unit 7 seems like it would hit a lot of social studies standards. Oops. Let's see. So I'm looking at the inquiry-based projects, and the pinks connect to social studies. So the standards 3.3, 4.3, 5.1, and then 4.3. So plan a community festival. That's cute. Design a community landmark. And then the science is analyze community geography. The social studies ones sound neat. Okay. Let me take these pictures before I forget. Oh, 3rd grade. If you have any neat photos to share of your classroom, after you share them on the group's page, I would love it, and I'm sure everyone would love it, if you would also share it in the photo album that it pertains to. So I have units 1 through 7 in our photo albums right now, and anyone can add photos in there. So it'd be neat to see what other people are doing in their classrooms. And then eventually, when people post on the timeline, your post, gets further and further down, it goes away. So when that goes away, we'll still have the photo album to reference to find what find your pictures. You guys getting ready for open house? Yeah, the pink is specifically history and social studies. And then the green, is it green or blue? Green is science. Elise, social studies seems easy to integrate into this unit. Definitely. I did a community unit anyway every year, so this is kind of nice. And then we have our field trip booked. We're going to our local community's historical museum. March 21st for open house. Ours is not this coming week, but the week after. It's that Tuesday. So that's why we're still working on Unit 5 projects, because our whole room for open house is going to be technology and innovation themed. I'm adding in my community service project. Ooh, what's that? That reminds me, that's like in Unit 1 when we did government. The inquiry-based project I did for that was a community improvement project. Christy, side note, I was planning with one of my fellow teachers and we talked about making a crew section to Reader's Theater. This way you can avoid not having parts for everyone. Ah, that's a good idea. Those Reader's Theaters have leveled parts. So it's based on, I believe it's just based on guided reading levels. So if you have your kids leveled off from A to Z, you can look at those Reader's Theaters for the week and assign them a character based on their level. All right. I can't believe we're almost done. And if you make it through Unit 7, you can give yourself a pat on the back because you've taught all of the standards. At least once. Sarah, I realized that I have to teach intervention after school on the same day as open house. Yeah, that's not going to be good at all. That's crunch time. My students have to choose to do something that will help or improve the community. I'm a huge dog advocate, so read to dogs in the shelter, feed the homeless, etc. Love it. In the beginning of the year, that inquiry-based project that I had them do was a homeless-themed one. And they had to come up with a way to solve the homeless issue that we have in our town. And they researched the local temporary aid center, reached out to them, and my kids created these like survival kits. And so they did chores around their home and they saved up like a couple bucks here and there. And then I went to the dollar store and I bought as much as I could to make these little backpacks, these kits. And then on a Friday afternoon, we went to the local temporary aid shelter center and we delivered them. We met the mayor too. He came with us. I have like a simple download on my TPT that walks you through like an improve the community project with like some brainstorming sheets where the kids have to write like a proposal for how they want to improve their community or school, and then like who they're going to reach out to in their community to collaborate with, and they have to like write a letter and stuff like that. It's cute. Let's see. Is that true for all grades? By Unit 7, we've taught all the standards. I think so. That's what I've always heard. The reading standards, but it looks like Katie says first grade we won't cover all the vowel patterns until the end of Unit 10, so that's important. So for your foundational reading skills, maybe those you're not done with until the end. Yeah, I agree, right? And reading to the shelter, reading to the animals at the shelter, or like donating or collecting, you know, comforters and things that you can give to the animals at the shelter. Those are the projects they remember. Okay, Christy, they're still reading the book, so they know how to make the sets they'll be using, but they're not reading the play in front of the class. Since I read with them on a regular basis, it's not a big deal, but you could also keep track and make sure each kiddo does this job for the Reader's Theater. Gotcha. Oh, all right, guys. Well, I'll wait like one more minute and then I gotta get a lasagna in the oven and clear a path in my house. We have like stuff everywhere, Legos everywhere. It's just a mess. We're moving the week of spring break, so in a few weeks. So we've started just like getting rid of furniture that we don't want to move with us. But in doing so, we've just taken all the stuff out of the drawers and just tossed them on tables and stuff. So I have some packing to do tonight. My husband and I bought our first place. So we're officially homeowners, condo owners. Sarah, well, it's gonna be ready in about 45 minutes. Come join. Do you like it spicy? All right, guys. This is like the cleanest space behind me because I took all the stuff that was piled here and I just put it behind the computer. Thank you. We have to do like painting and a little bit of renovation and plumbing stuff. So if you guys have any references, let me know for LA. We're moving out towards we're moving towards the valley, like off of Ventura, off the 101. All right, guys, I'm out. Have a good week. I will see you next week. Let me know if there's anything in particular that you need me to research or look into and support you on. And I will gear my next videos towards those. Goodbye.